News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Dan Schwartzman. We check markets all day long here at Bloomberg. A major rebound day on Wall Street as the Dow gained over 1,300 points or close to 2.9%. The S&P 500 gained over 160 points or 2.5%, while the Nasdaq jumped by over 600 points or 2.8%. The 10-year Treasury yield is at 4.286%. The 2-year yield is at 3.787%. The U.S. and Iran's 2-week ceasefire could already be in trouble as Israeli strikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon have threatened to derail the fragile agreement. Tehran had pledged to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, but the crucial waterway remains largely blocked with over 800 ships stuck. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the U.S. expects the strait to be open.
This is a case of what they're saying publicly is different privately. We have seen an uptick of traffic in the Strait today, and I will reiterate the president's expectation and demand that the Strait of Hormuz is reopened immediately, quickly, and safely. That is his expectation. It has been relayed to him privately that is what's taking place, and these reports publicly are false.
That's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Meanwhile, Iran's Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says in a statement posted on X that 3 clauses of the ceasefire proposal with the U.S. have already been violated so far. The first would be Israel's continued assault on Hezbollah in Lebanon, the second being a drone violating Iranian airspace, and the third being the denial of Iran's, quote, right to enrichment. Ghalibaf says that a bilateral ceasefire or negotiations would be unreasonable with these violations. Israel says they back the 2-week ceasefire with Iran, though they do say it does not extend to their operations in Lebanon. The IDF carrying out its largest operation against Hezbollah since the start of the Iran war, targeting more than 100 Hezbollah command centers and military sites. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Israel is backing the U.S.
The president spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu last night. In that private conversation, Prime Minister Netanyahu relayed exactly what he said to the world publicly, that he supports the president and Israel remains a key ally and partner to the United States.
That's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. President Trump, meanwhile, on Truth Social, threatening an immediate 50% tariff on any, quote, country supplying weapons to Iran. Trump says the tariff will be on all goods sold to the U.S. without any exclusions or exemptions. Fed minutes were released from the March meetings. Bloomberg's international economics and policy correspondent Mike McKee gives us more details.
Well, no surprise, the Iran war and tariffs were central to the discussion among Fed officials at their March meeting. The full effect of tariffs had not yet moved through the economy, officials said. A resilient economy, they called it. And the war, then only a few weeks old, raised the threat of inflation increasing and hiring slowing.
That's Bloomberg's Mike McKee. ExxonMobil says it's lost 6% of its global production in the first quarter due to the Iran war. The company said 2 liquefied natural gas production lines at a facility in Qatar were damaged by Iranian missile strikes, and the damage will take a prolonged period to repair. Exxon now expects first quarter earnings from its energy products division to be lower. Brent fell as much as 17% before trading near $95 a barrel, while European natural gas futures posted their biggest decline in more than 2 years, shedding as much as 20%. West Texas Intermediate also falling around 16% to around $95 a barrel. Delta Airlines expects to incur more than $2 billion in higher fuel costs through June because of the Iran war. Chief Executive Officer Ed Bastian telling reporters that the airline expects to raise fares more than what has already been levied. With the U.S. and Iran agreeing to that ceasefire, airline shares globally surging, with Delta shares rising over 7%, United Airlines seeing a rise of about 11%, while American Airlines rose about 8%. That's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Dan Schwartzman, and this is Bloomberg.